And that is the news of the last month, 6 days ago. Taking a little look at that, man. I got this recommended, which kind of made me motivated to check the news.
I think I know the reason why I'm always feeling sad. Everyone looks happy in the photos that they add. Our parents had their secrets that they hid when we were young. These days I'm getting older and I'm still not growing up.
Nice intro, man. It feels more and more like a dystopia, huh, chat? It feels more and more like a dystopia. This is 6 days ago, so we already don't include other news, like Russia's biggest attack ever into civilian Ukraine, right? Yeah. So much about that.
There's a map inside my phone, and it tells me where to go.
That's one big fucking rocket, man.
If I were to die, I don't think I could get back home. People keep on telling me what they think I should do. But if I wanted to be brainwashed, then I'd listen to the news.
What a great intro, man. Fucking hell. I never seen this channel.
Stop falling for it. Stop falling for it. Stop falling.
How can GTA top this? No, they can't, bro. Netanyahu puff. Let's go.
A topic in which our audience has shown particular interest has been the recent wave of age verification laws. On the 25th of July, the Online Safety Act came into force in the UK. The legislation requires that web service providers implement highly effective age verification measures to prevent minors from accessing content that promotes suicide, self-harm, eating disorders, abusive behavior, and explicit content. Theoretically, the bill should have been more popular, as polling indicated that as many as
7 in 10 support age verification checks to access. I also are pro that. I think they just did it wrong. To what extent do you support or oppose the introduction of age verification checks? Most people like this.
% of people in the UK favour stronger restrictions on minors accessing explicit content. In practice, however, this hasn't been the case. The first problem is that the law is relatively vague for what counts as inappropriate for minors. Furthermore, as companies now face fines of up to 10% of their global income, web providers have been extremely cautious about what they're willing to show. This has meant that everything from Spotify playlists to SpongeBob clips to even a member of Parliament's own speech on child abuse were restricted behind age verification.
That's always the issue with law that I also learned in law school. You make a law, but you don't define stuff enough. So now it's like this wild west where you don't know what goes and what doesn't.
News sites have also found that their own coverage of breaking news and war events can be considered harmful. The good news for us is that we've spent the last 6 years in YouTube's 9 circles of hell for making news videos. So we've basically become immune from these restrictions. After a certain amount of time of being covered in shit, you can't get any dirtier. However, even websites like Wikipedia have run into problems with the UK's Online Safety Act. Wikipedia recently lost a lawsuit seeking an exemption to ensure their users' safety and protection from abuse. Wikipedia is not currently forced to ID users, but the government may change this in the future. Ofcom, the UK's telecom regulator, has recommended several methods to verify age, including bank card checks, government issues.
Oh man, it's obviously a very deep topic, very hot topic. Obviously in my brain I will think just keep it simple. If a person has a contract for an internet, right? You guys all have internet contracts. You have to list the members of that family. For example, my family has a wife, me, and my son. And then you do a thing where, okay, I don't know. Like when I start my PC, I need to log into my provider's stuff. And I made an account where I showed my ID. Meaning when my kid, it's a bit weird though, right? If my 11-year-old son is like, I'm gonna watch some porn, please log in with your dad's password. Ah, shit, I don't know his password, which kind of is already what is going on, right? Well, like you have, I don't know, man, I don't fucking know. You have kids on the playground and they're like trying to watch porn together, but then it's like, you cannot access this. You never provided ID for this account. But they will probably find a way around it, right?
issued ID scans, and estimating age from user-submitted selfies.
They find a way anyway.
The sheer scale of content and sites that have been caught by the law has predictably triggered an enormous wave of backlash.
I'm fairly sure if they took porn off the internet, there'd only be one website left, and it'd be called Bring Back the Porn.
Users fear that being forced to provide an ID would give hackers or cybercriminals a goldmine of personal and sensitive data to target. A petition set up in the...
It's so hard. I don't want to always shit on this. I'm pro to check the internet more. The internet is too anonymous. There's too much fucking craziness on the internet. I'm very pro that people are not so anonymous anymore. Yet, it's also very, very hard to make this a real thing. How do you tackle this?
The wake of the Online Safety Act gathered over 500,000 signatures, encouraging the government to repeal the law. The general public also wasted no time in...
Which in the end, unfortunately, brings us to the simple solution in most issues on this planet. If the parents will just take a bit more fucking care of their goddamn stupid-ass kids, if parents will be more there, more aware, more... educated about what their kids are doing, all of this wouldn't be such a goddamn fucking problem, man. How often do we have dumb fucking kids in Hoi 4 acting like maniacs, like these two Turkish kids hacking games? It's because the parents aren't there. The parents are in the living room drinking fucking wine and just jerking off, man, while the kid is sitting in the room doing weird fucking shit. It's unfortunately often the parents. So maybe a way would be for a government to help parents with that, to do certain things to help. Once again, though, you know my conspiracy theory. I think the government doesn't want us to be more educated. They want us to be dumb. They want us to be stupid, so we don't question the capitalist system.
Trying to find ways around the law, with searches for how to get around age verification and is a VPN legal in the UK spiking over 450,000%.
Oh, I should have gotten a VPN sponsorship that day.
And 380,000% respectively. Interest in fake IDs.
Ich komme, warte. Ja, 2 Stunden. Okay. Okay. Careful. Not showing my boner. Okay, let's keep going.
Also rose sharply, and some particularly creative individuals noticed that video games with high-quality graphics can be used to fool the age estimation tools. Sites have publicly stated that they will delete the submitted data after age verification is confirmed. However, the signing of the law came just one...
I don't want to sound like an old man, but this video is making my brain hurt. Do you see that? Am I the only one? When he scrolls, it makes my brain hurt. The quality is fine. This gives me a headache. Watch this, watch this.
Day before a major hack hit the
dude, I can't watch that.
is a platform designed to allow women to rate and perform background checks on men.
The fuck?
A process designed to vet potential dating partners. As a result, users are required to submit pictures of themselves for ID verification purposes. And although the app stated that these pictures wouldn't be stored, hackers still managed to get their...
Yeah, that's the problem, man. You can do whatever you want. The hackers will always leak stuff. How often do we get emails? Your password was leaked. It's very, very hard to figure this out, man, honestly. It's a pretty fucking big problem.
Their hands on 72,000 images.
Wow.
Some supporters of the law have said that if the tech industry had been better at policing themselves and stopping minors accessing inappropriate content, the law would have been unnecessary. Others speculate that some companies are deliberately being overzealous with the law's application to purposely generate negative public opinion.
I could
about
never live without porn.
Meanwhile,
Holy shit, I couldn't
the
handle
UK's current government has defended the new regulations, with Technology Minister Peter...
If you want to you can't do this. Who is this guy? This guy is an official? So, Peter Kyle's comments on Skyrim are disgusting. He should do the right thing and apologize. And Peter Kyle, an adult, I guess an official, says, if you want to overturn this act, you're a side of the predators. It's simple as that. Who talks like this, she'll never be a politician. She'll neal be a politician. Only the Sith deal in absolutes.
Kyle stating that those against
I can't watch that shit. Kyle said, whatever.
Are on the side of Jimmy Savile, a notorious British pedophile. The entire argument of, if you don't like the law, you must be on team pedophile, is definitely one we expect to be adopting for ourselves. Repealing the act also raises concerns regarding revenge porn, which is considered one of the most serious crimes under the law. The government...
That's a fucking serious crime, man. Revenge porn, I don't know what the fucking penalty is, man, but that shit should be prison, man. That's where I'm a little social justice liberal, man. Is revenge porn illegal in Germany? And if yes, what's the penalty? I don't remember a law like that. I will think no. Violation of intimacy. Addresses revenge porn under section 201A, which deals with unauthorized sharing of intimate recordings. Up to 2 years of imprisonment. Nice. Okay. Nice. Good. I am obviously super pro. How can you be against that, right? No human being with a brain is against that. Bro, we all got mad once. We all were fucking animals once, Chad. But if you are so mad at a girl that you're willing to release her stuff, videos and stuff on the internet, man, you are a fucking... the crypt degenerate criminal. Straight up criminal scum.
Claimed
and
that
you need to get
as
fucked by the law, man.
3.4 million adults have been affected by revenge porn at some point in their life, and fully repealing the law would reduce both the punishment and ability to prosecute revenge porn offenders. Right-wing populist party Reform UK has vowed to repeal the act and replace it with another method to protect children online. When pressed on the matter, however, Reform admitted that they did not have a plan for once the law is repealed, and would hope for a tech solution instead.
But that's what right-wing populism always does. We're gonna do everything different. We have no solutions, but we're different. That's what the current thing is.
Reform has also made no mention of how they intended to replace the revenge porn aspects either. This is basically the entire problem. Everyone wants to protect children from the internet, but no one is tech savvy.
Why not fucking help parents more, right? Help parents more. Imagine, once again, I'm taking a stance nowadays, if you like it or not, this is just my opinion. You see I'm a little bit anti-capitalist nowadays. Imagine capitalism would have not urged both parents to work 8 hours 5 times a week. Imagine we could still afford housewives, people working a bit less, man, so they could be home and look at what the fuck their kids are doing. But you have to wake up in the morning, go to school. I gotta go, I have a meeting at work. I'm working. My wife says I need to buy cheese. Okay, I'm home. I'm so exhausted. My kid wants to play with me. No, go in front of the TV. Okay, me and mom want to fucking talk. Oh my god, what? There's no fucking wonder everybody goes insane, bro.
Enough to understand how fucking difficult that is in practice. Separately, the European Union is contemplating a law that would require member states to scan messages sent online for child sexual abuse material. Notably, it includes a provision that end-to-end encrypted messages must be scanned as well, effectively making sending encrypted messages impossible. Critics have argued that this severely hampers online privacy and provides a playbook for authoritarian states.
I can't look at that. I'm generally getting a fucking headache.
Dictator for spying on their citizens if you're also doing the same shit. Of the 27 member states, 15 are in support, 3 are against, and 9 are undecided. Its passage is not a sure thing, however.
If the EU looks into my WhatsApp group, it's super over. I don't want to sound like Orwell, man, but maybe AI is the solution, where AI is like inappropriate content. This person is uploading porn without the proper identification. This is not good. Maybe AI is the solution, but then AI is the ultimate overlord, man. Knows
EU
everything.
Assessment reportedly found that the proposed law contradicts EU laws against imposing general surveillance. Any proposed rule would also have to pass through the European Commission, European Parliament, and European Council in order to become an actual law. Historically, the three have all held very different views on the topic, so coming up with a law agreeable to all three might be difficult. We'll keep our eye on this one. These laws all come months before Australia is expected to impose a sweeping ban on all social media sites for users under the age of 16.
Yeah, full agree, full mega super ultra agree, man.
Much like the UK,
I know I sound like such a Dan, man, but 1000%.
But as there's still no word on how exactly the law is
2 years of love, Bazaris. 2 years of fucking love, my friend. Thank you so much, buddy.
Intended to be enforced.
Social media is a curse. I think studies are showing it now. It makes people go insane. Social media is so fucking bad.
The Australian government will likely see the same public backlash when the law comes into place on the 10th of December. Interestingly, YouTube was also firmly in the sights of the Australian government, although this will likely be less important, as an account isn't even needed to access much of the site's content. This does, however, lead quite neatly into YouTube's own policies, as this month saw the company announce that it would start using AI verification to catch users who lie about their age. In its initial trial rollout in the US, the company states that they'll be using a variety of metrics to predict a user's real year of birth. These can be anything
So if you're 6 years old and you only watch children's show, the AI will think you're a child.
from the age of the account, the user's search habits, and the types of videos they tend to watch.
Mr.
If
Beast.
YouTube predicts that a user is underage, they'll then be forced to verify themselves with a government-issued ID or credit card.
Do I like this or not? It feels very wild because an AI does it. It also has a good thing that you can catch kids without an ID. Wow, it's hard, man. It's very hard topics, man. Very hard.
This once again
How do you
runs
do
into the
this,
same
man?
variety of problems now facing the UK government. And for all its faults, America tends to take freedom of expression stuff pretty
This
seriously.
video makes YouTube think you're 18 over. What?
On legally of age, and you're watching an adult video. Thanks to YouTube.
Though I'm ADHD, don't care. Sorry.
The good news is that our channel tends to skew on the older side of the demographic, meaning just by watching this video, you're probably safe from YouTube's verification algorithm. After all, our channel is the best on the internet, and
What is
anyone
that
who
picture?
says otherwise is obviously
What is
on
this?
Team Pedophile. Quite fortunately for you, users who may be looking to circumvent such online restrictions may be interested in today's sponsor.
2025
The
is a pretty rough
Russia.
year for internet censorship. So if you're looking to click and swap those men without login reads /scriptshark and get a
is making me do it. They came to my house in the night.
They have my family.
and you'll still be getting your money back.
Meanwhile, a Georgia House representative
Wait, sorry?
VPN,
Here we go.
it's cheaper than the other ones.
Meanwhile, a petition is launched to rename Birmingham Airport to Ozzy Osbourne International.
Love it. Yes, yes, yes. This probably already has 100,000 yeses.
A Georgia House representative misspells Georgia, and the United Nations publishes a report about how no one reads their reports. Our next story once again takes us to the Middle East.
Oh shit.
Since the start of
Lot
the
of dead
latest
children.
Israel-Hamas conflict, there has been an increased push for nations worldwide to officially recognize the state of Palestine. As it currently stands, 147 out of 193 UN countries recognize the state of Palestine, with most
Germany
of
doesn't.
the ones
Wow.
without
Hell
recognition
yeah, another month of this Brazilian girl giving money away to my favorite German.
You're a Brazilian girl? Shut up. You must have a massive booty then. Or you're transgender, because girls on my channel always transgender people. But no hate, it's all good. Germany can't because it would be anti-Semitic.
falling within the American sphere of influence. The reason this most
What I don't fully understand as just an amateurish civilian, I'm trans. Well, you're watching her 4 guys, so yes, you're trans. But again, no hate. I was about to say something. But that the transgenders destroyed everything again. We're gonna make it great again. It's the transgender people that destroy this country. It's not me. It will never be me. No, it's these transgender people in my Twitch chat. Where was I? Forgot. Where the fuck was I? Whatever. Yeah, I was asking, why does it matter to recognize Palestine? Isn't it just a symbolic thing? I will now recognize Palestine. And then the Netanyahu goes, oh, how dare you? But nothing happens from that. It's not like it means anything, right?
recent wave of Palestinian recognition is so significant is that the nations making these statements are some of America's oldest and closest allies. France would be the first to kick off this latest flurry of recognitions in late July, stating that it would officially
destroying
recognize
Horcrux?
Palestine in September.
I don't know. TommyKay News, man. TommyKay News. TommyKay News. I'm interested. I want to get educated on this. When a country recognizes Palestine, what does that really mean? Is it just symbolic? On this channel, we look at the sources. When one country recognizes another, it says we accept you as a sovereign state with rights, etc. This means acknowledging Palestine's declared borders, that the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem belongs to them. Okay. You also do a de jure recognition of a formal legal recognition, treating Palestine as a state in official dealings. A softer version, also you can acknowledge Palestine institutions and leadership, blah, blah, blah. Practical consequences. Establishing or upgrading embassies or diplomatic missions, okay. You can sign treaties, trade deals, aid agreements, supporting Palestine membership of certain organizations such as the UN, or voting at the UN in line with Palestine's status as a state. Symbolism still matters. It signals opposition to the ideas that Palestine statehood must wait until negotiated peace with Israel. It strengthens Palestine's hand in diplomacy by increasing the number of states that treat it as a peer, and it can pressure other countries to reconsider their own positions. And the limits of recognition does not really change realities on the ground. That's what I mean. Israel still controls much of it and does what it wants. Yeah. That's something I often call out Europe for, man. We always only do symbolic stuff. We don't have the balls to actually do something, man. They're straight up doing, you know, just objectively. I'm not pro-Palestine, not pro-Israel. I'm pro-human. And I was pro-Israel when the invasion started, which made a lot of sense. But what's now happening is straight up a genocide. That's just undeniable. Everyone with a brain that can think knows it's now way too far. But the problem is no one fucking does anything. No one does anything, man. We're gonna recognize them, and we send some aid, man. But we just fucking look away, man.
Shortly after, both Britain and Canada would express similar intentions, which would then be followed by Australia on the 11th of August. It should be noted that this recognition isn't unconditional. For Australia and France, for example, recognition requires the Palestinian Authority to recognize Israel as a state, disarm Hamas, and pursue efforts to combat radicalization. Canada...
Stop the Fremen? Wait, what?
...as a state, disarm Hamas, and pursue efforts to...
Stop the Fremen from following Muad'Dib.
...combat radicalization. Canada, on the other hand, stated that
This is why I like you learning. It's important to change your minds. The day Israel got invaded, I made a tweet that I was pro-Israel. That, like, holy shit, this sucks. Let's destroy Hamas, which is just a human thing to say during that day. I lost all my sponsors that day. I got a lot of emails how people will never want to work with me again for fucking opinion, bro. Fuck these sponsors, though. Junge. Fuck him, dude. Called free speech. And obviously now things have changed. Israel went, obviously, I mean, this is not even anything you can really debate much, I think. They are going too far. They're going too fucking far, man. End of story.
Recognition would be granted if Hamas was demilitarized and if elections were planned to take place in 2026.
Which sponsors? I'm now on a blacklist. I know that, where a guy told me that, a sponsor. There's a big list with hundreds of names, which people that shouldn't be sponsored because they say weird things, and then I entered that blacklist. For example, me and Discord Pixel were about to make a $2,000 Kingdom. Stream Kingdom, the 2D scroller, and they texted me, because of your tweet, we will no longer sponsor you. And I just said, nah, fuck you. You guys probably love free speech, huh? Only if it goes your way, though, you fucking morons. And yeah.
Both of these things are extremely unlikely. Britain went with quite a different strategy, instead stating they'd only go forward with recognition if Israel didn't increase aid into Gaza. But
if I'm Netanyahu, what the fuck do I care? Oh, if we stop, the UK will recognize the country that will have a different government in 2 years. They will recognize Palestine. I often feel like we, like the good guys, like Europe and stuff, we don't make the evil guys at all scared. Like, Vladimir Putin is still selling all his oil to, like, Slovakia, Hungary and shit, even to us. You think they care? We're gonna make our 13th sanction package against you, Russia. And Putin in his big mansion, he's like, no, you're gonna do that? Like, bro, man. Thank you so much, Rory, for the 5, man. Thank you, Rory Bory, man. Mwah! Thank you so much, buddy, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, dude. One-stage solution under Putin. The West thinks the world tensions at 10%.
Of the West Bank and commit to a ceasefire. Again, this won't happen in 1,000,000 years. So the conditions are basically just so Britain can say to Israel, hey man, that shit's on you. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would comment on the recent wave of recognitions with his own words. Quote, a Palestinian state...
I'm gonna predict he's gonna say the anti-Semitic. A Palestinian state in
these conditions would be a launchpad to annihilate Israel, not to live in peace beside it. Let's be clear, the Palestinians do not seek a state alongside Israel. They seek a state instead of Israel. We'd certainly like to ask a Palestinian.
Thank you, Rory, man.
about
Have fun
their
in the
take
gym,
on
bro.
this quote, but as long-time
Today
viewers
it's
may
my first day I
remember,
take my
the last
kid to the gym.
contact
I'm
we
very
had
excited.
within Gaza was killed by an Israeli airstrike in the opening days of the war. Many nations, particularly in the West, have long hesitated to grant Palestinian recognition. Perhaps the two largest contributors for the policy in recent times have been Israel's perceived moral superiority, as well as the strength of Hamas within Palestine, a group that
Makes me think though, man, dude, if you're Hamas, right, and you plan this invasion where you kill 1,000 people, you must fucking know. I mean, a lot of people are fucking dumb on this planet. You must know you're opening Pandora's box. When you do this invasion, when you kill all these civilians, you know what you're gonna do. And that's what I always argue. This is my big argument in the world with Ukraine, Russia, and Palestine, Israel. It's always the leadership that's killing us, man. If you watch these interviews and documentations, a lot of Jews in Israel, there's so many Arabs, they want to live together. They're like, Jesus, let's stop killing each other. Let's find a solution. It's often the leadership. It's Hamas. We will kill the Jews. I don't care what happens to my people. We have Netanyahu's government. We are gonna genocide. I don't give a fuck what the Israel people think. It's often these power-hungry, tyrannical leaders that are dividing us on as the human race, man.
much of the West considers a terrorist organization. Over time, however, these two justifications have become significantly
This is the plot of Attack on
Israel's
Titan.
moral superiority was much easier to
Israel is gonna build Wall Maria.
argue when it was the fresh victim of the October 7th terror attack, which took the lives of 1,200 people. However, with it now being nearly 2
I mean, these people deserve to die, but these invaders, they must be fucking
years into
shot in
the
the head, man.
conflict, and consecutively 60,000 people dead within Gaza, it's become much harder to argue
60,000 fucking lives gone, man. It's crazy how nowadays that means nothing to you anymore. 60,000, don't care. When I was a kid, 5,000 people in 9/11 was massive. That was like, holy shit, we're gonna have a day of silence, right? And now 60,000 dead in Gaza, no one feels anything. We're all so numbed nowadays, man. We're super numb now.
in favor of Israel's moral high ground. In the same way, Israel's military campaign into Gaza has also drastically weakened Hamas as an organization. And with it, the justification that Hamas would become the de facto ruler of Palestine. However, even under completely ideal circumstances, a functioning state of Palestine wouldn't be an easy thing to pull off. Putting aside that Palestine hasn't actually held elections since 2006, the effects of the war will still be felt for generations to come.
Sorry, once again, what?
Palestine wouldn't be an easy thing to pull off. Putting aside that Palestine hasn't actually held elections since 2006, the effects of the war will still be felt for generations to come. Huge swaths of infrastructure would need to be rebuilt, a gargantuan aid effort would need to be set up, and an interim government would need to be in place that wouldn't be tempted to take power for itself. That's not considering how you somehow stop 2 million people from being radicalized after being subjected to years of bombing and starvation.
Yeah, it's an
As a
infinite circle of fuck-ups, man. And I always ask myself, right, the little liberal TommyKay, man, who wins in this? It's the leaderships, man. I mean, if you're a Hamas guy, you probably get killed. But Netanyahu's going to be fine probably in the end, man. The guy has a lot of money. The people selling the weapons, man.
Of writing,
there's always
there have
people
been
winning in
reports
this,
that
and it's
Israel
just,
is
it's not the people, it's not you and me.
negotiating with South Sudan to resettle displaced Palestinians within its territory. However, this has not been made public by either nation. This lines up with the US President Donald Trump's vision for Gaza, which he shared via AI video in February this.
And that's just okay. The guy makes a meme video about, there's 60,000 people dying, and he's like, I'm gonna turn it into a golf place. It's just no more consequences. That's always my number one feeling. There's no more consequences for anything. On the small scale and the big scale, no more consequences. There's no divine justice. There is no universal police that goes, that's not okay. I'm gonna hit you on the fucking finger, man. There's no consequences anymore.
Here. Just before you watch, we want to reiterate that this was actually posted by a sitting US president.
Tunnels coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand.
I honestly believe we live in a simulation. How do we not live in a simulation, buddy? How is this reality?
Trump Gaza number one. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one.
Despite continued pressure both domestically and internationally, Benjamin Netanyahu's hardline government has remained steadfast in its plan to entirely control Gaza. Netanyahu has consistently stated that his goal is to purge Gaza of all Hamas strongholds. And, as we've seen, these horrifying levels of civilian casualties have not been a deterrent in this mission. Although recent recognitions have shown how international attitudes for Israel and Palestine have shifted during this conflict, it's
We need
unlikely
F
that we'll
society.
see a definitive...
We need like a hidden rebellion, man. I'm even thinking of making the technocratic rebellion, and you guys will be my underground people. You guys all go to university. You go to high-level offices, right? I'm gonna spread you guys. We have people in Romania, USA, Australia, and we're slowly building the secret society, man. And we're gonna start rebelling against all this shit, man. Okay, guys? And it all starts with a TommyKay Twitch Prime, man. If you want to join my international revolution, Twitch Prime's not a crime. It's September. All subs 25% off.
Conclusion before the end of this year. It seems that every month there are dozens of breakthroughs in the field of AI, a technology which has made homework 500 times easier and your conspiracy theorist uncle 20% stupider. Just this month, OpenAI unveiled ChatGPT-5, outperforming all their previous models.
But what does that mean, outperforming? What exactly does that mean? And what does it outperform? Artificial Analysis Intelligence ADEX incorporates 8 evaluations. Live Code Bench, Sky Code, I don't know what that means. And ChatGPT-5 is the best. I love ChatGPT. I use it all day, man. I am a big ChatGPT guy. All day long. What did I Google today? What did I fucking do today? I talk to him all the time. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to tell you. That's private. I talk to ChatGPT a lot. I don't say I will Google it. I always now say I will ChatGPT it.
All their previous models. Meanwhile, Google just announced a $9 billion investment into an AI data center within Oklahoma. And another company by the name of Applied Digital
This is the
announced
future,
a $3
man, right there.
billion data center in North Dakota. As the demand for AI technology grows exponentially, so too does the need for...
I'm not that invested, but AI, how to say, ETF. ARC AI and robotics. How are they doing? This is sponsored though. And then here, iShares Future AI. How are they doing? Can I see? Man, 1 sec. Super annoying bullshit here. The best ETFs for AI. The Nasdaq CTA Artificial Intelligence. In 5 years, 84%, man. Because I'm generally thinking of investing in it. iShares AI adapters. This is not doing so well, but this is something about adapters. I'm too retarded though for this shit. Global Artificial Intelligence Index. It's a good investment, I guess. It's like okay-ish. Because I feel like this shit is gonna explode, man. I feel like investing in it.
Accompanying data centers, facilities that use more
I'm super
power
against
than
AI. The thing is, I think it almost makes no sense to be against AI because it will win anyway. Whatever your opinion is, AI will grow and become part of our life. So I'd rather be someone that gets ready for it, stays updated, and sees what's going on, rather than like, fuck this. You can't get rid of it anyway.
All island nations. To put it in perspective, according to the World Economic Forum, each ChatGPT query uses around 10 times more electricity than a Google search. This isn't even considering the numerous other AI companies who are in an intense race
You think you
to
do to me, my
outcompete
friend,
each other
man.
in what will likely be the most profitable market.
You boycott it? No, you can't. I disagree with that. Every time there's a new innovation, the whole world goes, I don't like this, it will win anyway. The world doesn't care if you or 100,000 people or 10 million people boycott it. It will happen anyway, man.
Time. AI's ability to revolutionize nearly every industry.
Oh, I can't wait for porn robots. One day I'm 57 years old. Lisa left me. I'm really lonely. I have nothing to do, and I'm just living with my porn robot. How you doing, honey? We want to watch a show. Yes, Tommy, I love that show. You are so amazing, Tommy. I think your dick is perfect. Suck my dick while I watch Dexter season 5000, okay? It's gonna be the greatest life, man. It's gonna be so fun.
To invest ungodly resources into its development. With this in mind,
you know what company you should invest one day? I thought about this. Some company will have to develop cleaning kits for sex robots, right? We will have these androids that will suck your dick, and then they're full of cum. And someone has to design a cleaning ritual, how these robots can clean their cum throats. And whoever designs that will get my investment. $5,000 right in there, bro.
Governments the world over also
That'll make so much
underestimated
money.
that AI dominance could shape the international political landscape for years to come, which is why many have been so accommodating for such a development. On this wider level, the three main players in the AI race are the United States, China, and the European Union. Back in April, the European Union announced their AI continent plan. The plan details the investment of 200 billion euros to
Come as
boost
the
AI
fuel?
development in Europe, 20 billion to finance.
I always thought about this, man. I swear to God, I'm always honest. I never fucked like a puppet or like these fake vaginas. You know what I mean? These things. I never touched it in my life. But I always wonder, if you're a man and you're really horny, and we all know what it's like to be horny, and you fuck like one of these sex puppets, right? And it's like fun, you're horny, but we all know this, chat, we all know this. As you come, something very special happens to men. We become clear in our head. For 10 minutes, we're fucking Buddha. We see the world clearly. And it must be so weird that when you fuck like a flashlight and shit and stuff, and you're like, and then you have this moment of, oh, what is wrong with me? I'm a fucking animal, bro. And then you have to do this walk of shame to the bathroom, and you're like cleaning this plastic vagina of your own cum. And that must be so degrading, man. That must be, there's probably one viewer who did this once, man. That must be the saddest fucking moment of your life, man. Like that moment when you're really horny and then you come, like when you're 5 a.m. at the club and you take the fat girl and you're like, oh yeah, oh, it's so awkward, right? I think about this often, how when you come, you have this moment of pure clarity for fucking 10 minutes. You're your purest version, man. Sometimes imagine we could fully take away a man's horniness and you always post not clarity. Dude, we will cure cancer. We will... You wouldn't watch Tommy. You will right now write a fucking paper about quantum physics, man. We will be on a whole nother level, man.
It's up to 5.
Yet it isn't what it is, and we all love curvy fucking butts, don't we, guys? Subscribe if you like curvy butts.
Gigafactories, and the construction of 13 AI factories that will support startups, industry, and research activities.
Like lately, chat, man, you want to talk about, I'm so horny, right? So me and Lisa, I can share this. We're planning a second kid now, right? We're ready to do a second kid. And I want to be a bit honest. I was never the most ultra-sexual guy, right? I could handle a month without banga banga, no problem. Now, this is very interesting, right? This is actually very deeply interesting stuff. My brain now for some weeks understands, oh, beep, 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 your female is ready to breed. And as we know, in all mammals for millions of years, breeding is the most important shit ever in this universe, right? For an animal, dude, I'm like an 18-year-old kid lately, man. You wouldn't believe it, man. Lisa walks past me, and I take a whiff of her hair. I instantly have a massive raging boner, man. It's fucking annoying. I hate it. I don't like it. I want to concentrate, man. I want to do other things. But it's this super, super interesting. It's actually fucking interesting, man. Right? Think about it scientifically. That my consciousness knows your female is ready to breed, and it like drops all these hormones, and I'm just a fucking... I feel like I'm 18 years again, man. I'm a fucking... machine, bro. And it's annoying, man. I'm happy when she's like pregnant, man, and it's over and I can finally... And then the brain goes, she's pregnant, you cannot make another child, we gotta turn down the hormones, and I can fucking think again, man. God damn. You guys can laugh all you want. One day you're gonna know what I mean. If you guys finally get girlfriends, you goddamn ugly cunts. Anyway, I wanted to share that.
Meanwhile, China is spending
Thank you,
billions of
Sepamine.
yuan to
Thank you.
develop their
Thank you.
own homegrown AI systems, alongside supporting their national chip manufacturer. This is slowly closing the technological gap with the United States AI development through companies such as Google, Microsoft, OpenAI.
I'm already
Meta,
stuck already
and
on
Amazon.
ChatGPT. I
However,
don't use
if
anything
we're
else.
talking-
A while ago, right, I opened my WhatsApp, and if you know Europeans, if you open WhatsApp, you have an AI here, right here. And I tested it, and it was so wrong. I did like some test questions. What is this called here? Meta AI Llama 4. Meta AI Llama 4. And it was super wrong, man. It's a lot of mistakes and stuff.
Purely about the environmental impact based on publicly available information, then the United States leaves a hefty footprint the size of the average West Virginian man. According to the
People forget that, man. AI is eating insane energy.
National Energy Agency, the US made up a whole 45% of all global data center electricity consumption in 2024.
Wow.
With this in mind, the US Bureau of Labor Statistics declared that electricity prices have jumped more than twice as fast increased as the overall cost of living
People don't talk
in
about
the
this,
last
man.
year. Additionally, the U.S. Energy Department
AI is actually like a big problem, huh?
says that the cost of gas used to generate power jumped more than 40% in the first half of this year compared to 2024, with another 17% increase expected in 2026. A study by Carnegie Mellon University and North Carolina State University found that electricity rates could rise 8% on average across the US through 2030.
Now, I wonder, how do you invest in that? You guys are probably educated. How would you invest as a private investor into a growing electricity need in the US? There must be some kind of way to invest in that.
Because of increased demand from data centers.
Like into electricity infrastructure? Let me just be weird. I'm just gonna like yap. You know, Tommy, can you say yap? I want to invest into US electrical infrastructure, like an ETF. Tell me some. Oh, can I not write anymore? There's probably some good stuff. The Global US Infrastructure Development Index. It even gives you the chart. Wow. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, 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 oi. Dude, every time I check the stock market, it's not hard to be rich, right? It's not that hard to predict something like this, right? You just need the capital, but it is not hard to predict. Look at this, man. And this is just, oh, wait. Look, man, if you do this, dude, if you were rich during Corona, you're the richest man ever. If right here you invest, you're just a king. It's all growing, man. I might generally fucking think about this a bit. Interesting, man.
2024, the number of data centers in the US nearly doubled, and there are currently more than 5,000 data centers in the US. According to the National
Very safe investment, I feel like.
and Information Administration, the need for data centers is expected to rise by 9%.
AI feels like God, though. Whoever controls AI will control the world.
2030. These figures highlight
tell people
an
what to
often
think and
overlooked
stuff.
issue within the AI space. As AI companies rapidly build these power-intensive data centers,
Invest in German
this puts pressure
infrastructure?
on
Fuck
energy
that.
infrastructure.
One
which
thing
can
you will
make it
learn if you
more
go ever to the
expensive
stock market and start investing is that the US is the golden mecca of investments. It has the most stable growth ever. It has the stable S&P 500, the greatest government bonds of all times. That's something you realize when you go into finance a bit. The USA is still, by far, the holy grail of
the average person.
Growth.
Data centers also tend to use a huge amount of fresh water in their cooling systems, and it's estimated.
Who told you we're gonna have a water crisis? Ooh, this is so interesting, man. I might genuinely, actually, I want to start restocking myself. I might wanna soon buy my first stocks in a while. But I think this is how I always talk. I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know much about investment. But I always say this, I'm waiting for the next crash, right? Like Trump saying something. I'm waiting for a 20% drop, and that's where I think I'm going to buy something easy. Not much. $1,000, man. Nothing too crazy. A little bye-bye. But I feel like, because I'm like chill, I'm hanging out, I have time, I'm going to wait for a crash or something.
That by 2027, AI could withdraw between
You missed the last crash? Yeah, I did, yeah. There will be another one.
6.6 billion cubic meters of water per year. Possible ways to mitigate water
If you were intelligent enough to invest during Corona, you're fucking rich as hell now.
usage could be to build such centers in nations that are naturally colder. A data center in California needs
My friend always says that, right? The stocks will always re-rise. The only thing that can kill it is World War III. Like, the whole world kills itself. That's how you will lose your investment.
to spend millions to keep their servers cool. But in Finland, you can just crack a window. While many of the
True! The North Hemisphere would be great for these data centers. True!
These US-based tech giants pledge to help the environment with their sustainability goals. Companies like Google have had their carbon emissions rise by as much as 51% over the
Let's save the planet, guys. It's not gonna happen, man. We're fucking cooked.
past 6 years, largely with the increased use of AI technology. Meanwhile, only last
They're already
year,
moving into the
Microsoft
north?
locked down a 20-year contract to lease Pennsylvania's 3 Mile Island nuclear plant. The plant was previously shut down in 2019 after being deemed economically unviable. reliable. However, it will now serve as a huge source of clean energy behind Microsoft's AI ambitions. Being such a new technology that boasts huge investment figures, lawmakers have been slow to pass regulation on the construction and use of data centers. In Virginia, for example, measures to enact a review process just to ensure grid reliability were unanimously voted against, as the state didn't want to scare off local investment. Only last month, we covered America's recent hard turn away from renewable energy infrastructure. And with the AI boom here to stay, the nation may become increasingly more at the mercy of fossil fuel commodities, with issues...
Kind of sounds not good for the future, eh? Doesn't sound good
like
for the
these,
future.
Eventually someone has to pick up the tab, and in this case, it'll probably be the average American. Crossing over to the United States, the month of August saw President Trump declare a state of emergency for Washington, D.C., invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act for the first time.
He wants to do this in Chicago now, maybe.
Section 740 allows the president to commandeer D.C.'s Metropolitan Police Department if conditions of an emergency nature exist. In this case, President Trump cited crime as the justification for the state of emergency. National Guards would also be deployed to the streets of Washington, D.C., which...
I wonder what a normal day looks like for the National Guard in Washington. What do you do all day? You like patrol? Like a fucking Gestapo man? Like, what do you do?
And the president's own words were sent to, quote, rescue our capital from bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor and worse. Based on the description, you'd think that the District of Columbia had turned into fucking good neighbor.
Oh, man.
So let's look at what the stats...
Picking up trash? That's actually kind of nice, man. I would like to see that a bit more. There's so much trash where I live, man. There should be people picking up that trash.
According to a report provided by the Department of Justice at the start of 2025, violent crime in Washington, D.C. is at a 30-year low. In total, the nation's capital saw a 35% reduction in violent crime from 2023 to 24. This includes a reduction in the following categories: a 32% drop in homicides, a 39% reduction in robberies, a 52% decline in armed robberies, and a 29% decrease in assault.
Let's send in the National Guard
with a deadly weapon. For some important context, the president would probably have a much stronger case for a state of emergency at the peak of COVID. From 2019 to 2023, homicide rates within DC would double to a peak of 40 per 100,000 residents, meaning although murders are down, they're still much higher than the early 2010s. The state of emergency was declared 4 days after former Doge employee Edward Corristine was assaulted and bloodied during an attempted carjacking.
They fucking got him? I talked about this guy. Asmongold was cheering him. That guy, is that the guy who did really fucked up tweets, like Nazi stuff? What's his name? Edward? I don't want to show him too much. What's his name?
Corristine was a emergency was declared 4 days after former Doge employee Edward Corristine was assaulted.
Edward Corristine. That guy is super, I think if I'm correct, that guy is very dangerous. I'm not saying violence is correct here. Edward, tell me about, what's his name? Edward Corristine? Corristine, the former Doge employee. I think that's the guy who's super fucked up. Collinstein. If that's the guy I think it is, he did fucked up tweets and shit. Straight up Nazi stuff. Edward Corristine, 2005, man, it's a fucking kid. Often known by Big Balls. He's an American programmer and engineer. Graduated, blah, blah, blah. He's adopted Big Balls during high school. Corristine was brought in the Department of Government Efficiency, a Musk-led initiative aimed at slashing government bureaucracy with no prior experience. He became one of its youngest and most visible members. He reportedly held adversary and interim roles across multiple federal agencies, including the Office of Personnel Management, State Department, etc. Corristine became a full-time federal guy, blah, blah, blah. In 2022, Corristine was terminated from internship at Path Network for allegedly leaking internal information to a competitor. Reports revealed he founded a company, Tesla Sexy, ran an AI Discord bot for the Russian market, and that his content delivery network, Diamond CDN, reportedly aided a cybercrime group. He was also said to have provided tech support to criminal cyber ring. Investigative reporting raised concern about his access to sensitive federal systems, etc. And he has been attacked. Is he the guy that did some fucked up tweets? And if yes, can you show them to me? I think that was the guy that tweeted super fucked up shit. According to reporting by TruthOut, Korstein created multiple shocking and offensive URLs that included racial slurs against black people, reference to sexual violence and rape, domains like child porn store, as well as sites promoting date rape drugs. These domains, such as KKK School Club, rapingwomen.club, and childporn.store, redirected to a site he controlled, Tesla Sexy, to mask user identity. The article also noted that he interacted on X with a known white supremacist, suggesting alignment and engagement with extremist logics. If you ask me about these tweets, that is post he made on Twitter X. There is no publicly achieved evidence of that. That's not good though. These exposure centers on domain names and web content, not necessarily social media posts. So while he may have done some fucked up tweets, those records are gone. Okay. What are, I'm gonna be nice here, sources of these allegations? That's important. You can't just say that. TruthOut. This non-profit outlet detailed Korstein's extreme digital footprint. In reports, he created shocking offensive URLs, like raping women, child porn, domains using the N-word and referencing blah 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 blah. Additionally, TruthOut reports Korstein engaged with white supremacy. Yeah, what is their proof? I want to be nice here. I want to be centrist. A thorough follow-up by the Revolving Door Project, Muskwatch, and cybersecurity journalist Brian Krebs provides granular support. It corroborates that Korstein's image hosting site Tesla Sexy was linked to a slew of toxic URLs such as rape, etc. Blah blah blah. Okay. Krebs links him to cybercriminal environments such as the Com. Blah blah blah. The Nation provides socio-political commentary that echoes and situates. Blah blah blah. Did he ever comment on these allegations? You asked whether has ever commented on these allegations. No public response against these allegations. Wired noted that Korstein did not respond to multiple requests to comment on this. The Guardian has the same. Okay. Won't be surprised if you're in the chat right now.
Assaulted and bloodied during an attempted carjacking.
In Germany, we have a TV show, Jan Böhmermann, that showed his tweets.
Korstein, also known as despite being just a 19-year-old. This is going completely off.
Why is a 19-year-old though working for Doge, man? Like, what the fuck? If this is true, it's still a bit, you know, allegedly, then Musk calling him to be the face of Doge is...
Topic, but the law behind Korstein
totally into Toy 4.
is fucking crazy. His dad is the CEO of a snack company, and his grandfather was executed by the Soviet Union for being a double agent for the KGB.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Why this teenager was handpicked for such high-ranking government positions, and why he's at the center of the US Capitol state of emergency is another one of nature's mysteries.
That is a very, very, very good question.
As far as we can tell, he's managed to Forrest Gump his way through the second Trump administration, so viewers should probably expect him to fill in for Secretary of Transportation before the end of the year. The whole question of why Washington, D.C. was even placed under a state of emergency has been the topic of much debate, even if the deployment of the National Guard to...
I sound like a green cunt here, but I always think all that fucking fuel, all these cars must be fueled, they're driving around, they all have to be paid and stuff. What a waste of resources. I'm a very big German boomer, man. I hate when on the weekend I see the football games, right? When there's a football game and there's so much police. All these police cars have to be fueled, all these policemen have to be fucking paid just because of your fucking football game. And because you're like a bit violent and hit your women and stuff. I have to pay for your fucking police shit, man.
DC isn't exactly unheard of. The Guard are deployed at presidential inaugurations, and in times of protest or civil unrest. In recent years, the National Guard have been deployed during the George Floyd protests in 2020, as well as the January 6th incident in the following year. In this instance, however, there was seemingly no big catalyst for such a development, and the federal government has not taken direct control over the DC police since the passing of the Home Rule Act in 1973. When asked how long this state of emergency might last, Senior Director at the Brennan Institute of Justice...
Hello, Tommy. You want to watch video about Bulgarian corruption? I will pass, thank you.
Elizabeth Goitin would comment, quote, "That is a question we actually don't have an answer to, because there is very little case law about the proper use of the DC National Guard or about the authority the president is relying on to invite other states to send their National Guard forces to DC." She would later continue, "It just seems like this is a flexing of federal muscle to intimidate jurisdictions across the country. So it's not clear what could bring this to an end, other than intervention by the courts, by Congress, or by overwhelming public disapproval. The governors of the states of Ohio, South Carolina, West Virginia...
I'm always a bit about efficiency, man. This is the DA, though. Something else.
Virginia, Mississippi, and Louisiana...
Oh, no, they're meeting with the DA. What does the National Guard do all day? And you can't deny, it's just my opinion, you walk around the neighborhood and people with batons walking around in uniform. It's a little bit Nazi Germany, man. A little bit. I'm sorry, man. Fucking a bit weird, dude, you know?
Louisiana would also commit to lending their own National Guard to Washington, D.C. However, the FBI's own crime statistics show that there are 64 cities within those states that have higher rates of violent crime than Washington, D.C. This entire situation is strange, to say the least, because although President Trump has pushed into an unexplored...
Trump was right about everything, man. That guy, bruh.
Gray area, the justification for doing so is comparatively pretty weak. At least as of time of writing, direct action within this state of emergency has been limited to clearing out encampments of homeless people and using stop and frisk on students at Howard University. Even DC residents have been pretty chilled out, with the biggest protest against the state of emergency only attracting a few hundred people.
And people don't really have much against us, huh?
US adults in the middle of this month, 44% supported the president's military deployment to DC, with 51% opposing it. As you might imagine, support fell pretty heavily along party lines. Interestingly, around half of all respondents believe that the state of emergency was to distract from other issues within...
That's what I believe. I believe that. He will do anything he can, as well as tells, to distract from Epstein. That's what I believe.
Most notably, the Epstein files seem to be one of the
and it works. People are talking about Epstein less and less.
Political factions.
The biggest fucking
the majority
tragedy.
Of voters...
Fucking children raped and destroyed for life, and no fucking consequences. That's the fucking world we live in, man.
Also seem to think that the Trump administration will send the National Guard
Thank you, Brax's brother. Thanks for 6 years here too, man. Thank you, dude.
As is the case with a lot of these events, the real story isn't necessarily what happened, but the implications of what they might mean in the future. Only 8 fucking hours after writing this story, news broke that the Trump administration plans to mobilize up to 1,700 National Guards to 19 other states across the country. Reportedly,
it's like you read the history book and how a coup happens, right? And then Hitler was sending the army into some cities to make sure, you know, that when he takes over, everything goes well. It's like a history book.
These troops will be deployed in primarily Republican-controlled states and will be tasked with assisting immigration and customs.
Maybe it's also to make these Republican voters keep voting for you.
Operations. This falls in line with the president's very ambitious goal to deport 1 million people this year, a target that looks to fall short at the current rate. Not much is known about this operation as of time of writing, but we'll be sure to cover it next month if it escalates into something bigger. We now turn to the dysfunctional Caribbean nation of Haiti, which now plans to employ the help of mercenaries from the US private security company Vectus Global. Vectus Global was notably founded by former US Navy SEAL Eric Prince, better known for founding Blackwater, a private military contractor which deployed hundreds of PMCs during the Iraq and Afghan wars. To understand why mercenaries are being sent to Haiti, it helps to get some broader context of the nation as a whole. In 1492, Christopher Columbus landed on the island that would make up modern Haiti. And in typical colonial style, the native Taino and Arawak communities would face years of disease and forced labor. In 1697, Haiti would be ceded to France, becoming known as Saint-Domingue. Through the magic of slavery, Saint-Domingue would go on to become one of the richest colonies in the world. Later in 1804, after a very long struggle, Haiti would win its independence through the world's only successful large-scale slave revolt.
Wow,
However,
I didn't know that.
Only after a few years later, in 1825, the French would return and demand compensation for the property and slaves lost.
Imagine you fought in the war, you have a nice life, wife and kids, and 25 years later, you're sitting on the beach of your home country, and you see the French ships coming. We want your money and some cocoa! Hey! yeah. Fuck, man, dude.
Forced to take out high-interest loans from French banks, Haiti would spend the next 120 years repaying its debt, a burden that greatly crippled its ability to develop.
And this is where you can be a leftist cuck arguing how they destroyed a country there, right? They really fucked the country, so it can never evolve.
Its own infrastructure.
But that happened
in the 20th
everywhere.
century, Haiti would suffer through a US occupation, 10 major coups, and 2 military dictators. Fast forward to 2010, and the
Pay us money back for destroying our slave nation.
region would be rocked by a catastrophic earthquake that would go on to kill 200,000 people.
Wow,
Although
and
UN peacekeepers
damn.
would be mobilized to Haiti, they brought with them a cholera outbreak that would go on to infect.
Oh, man, what is going on? We're gonna send the blue helmets. We're gonna help you, Haiti. We got you covered, Haiti. Don't worry. You're gonna be fine. Oh, for fuck's sake.
820,000 people.
Oh,
In
for fuck's
2021, Haiti's Prime Minister, Jovenel Moïse, would be assassinated by a group of mercenaries hired through a Miami-based security company. The killing of Moïse is
What?
still surrounded by speculation and conspiracy. Supposedly, the mastermind behind the hit was Christian Emmanuel Sanon, a Haitian doctor and pastor who had planned to replace Moïse upon his death. Others have speculated whether Moïse's own security
It's like House of
detail was
Cards
in on the
with
plot,
black people.
or whether his eventual replacement, Ariel Henry, was somehow involved. The fallout from the assassination crippled Haiti's government. With no functioning parliament, elected mayors, or planned elections, the capital of Port-au-Prince
That's German weapons. G3. That's the G3. As I always say, old man, I have a scar right here from that weapon. Because I disassembled it wrong and then cling.
began to be ruled by powerful
Terrible
gangs.
weapon, man. Very
In
bad.
March and April 2024, Haitian
Why I
gangs
speak
would
French.
storm 2 major prisons, eventually releasing approximately 4,500 inmates. It wasn't long before an estimated 80% of Port-au-Prince was entirely under gang control, with these groups now
Haiti is a
acting
failed state. That's a very childish statement here in chat. I mean, they're kind of explaining why it's failed. It wasn't so much their fucking fault. I think conservatives sometimes have this notion, oh, these black people, they don't know how to run a country, these idiots. Yeah, but if you look at the history, there's a reason why they're so fucked up.
as violent de facto governments within their areas of control. Haiti's murder rate would skyrocket to one of the highest in the world. The nation would see thousands of kidnappings per year, and the gangs even maintained a successful fuel blockade on the capital's Veru terminal. The situation got so bad that the UN Security Council approved a support mission in an effort to restore peace. As Haiti has long had a history of getting royally fucked by foreign interference, Kenya, a relatively neutral country, would volunteer to lead the operation. Kenya would pledge 1,000 police officers to the operation, who would then receive financial backing from wealthy nations like the United States.
Okay.
This mission is still in the planning phase, and critics argue that the provided resources are nowhere near what would be required to restore Haiti to a state of normalcy. Only earlier this year, Haitian law
It's interesting that right next is the Dominican Republic, where a lot of German tourists are. My dad was there. There's a lot of tourism, white people going there, and just a couple of kilometers away, we have this crazy country, man.
enforcement started using suicide drones to target gang hideouts within the capital, a tactic taken directly
This is where you need the National Guard.
from the front lines of Ukraine. Surprisingly, some Haitian human rights activists have commended the drone attacks. Local human rights activist Rosie Auguste Ducina would explain in her own words, quote, "For us, drones are entirely proportionate to the level of weaponry the gangs possess. We cannot dismiss the fact that these operations are having an impact on them. The element of uncertainty is also very important. The gangs don't necessarily know when or where a strike will happen, and we believe that's one reason for the drop in gang activity we're currently seeing. Many banks have reopened, and many schools are open again. There is no longer the same tension as during the height of the insecurity. There is a glimmer of hope." Ducina would however voice her concern that the task force conducting the drone attacks are being led directly by Prime Minister Alex Fils-Aimé, rather than security officials. She would comment, quote, "We believe this is extremely dangerous for democracy. A political authority
I have a weird question. I might sound like an ignorant retard here, but without slavery, there would be no black people in Haiti, right? I think so, right? As weird as it sounds, yeah. They were all, these are all descendants of slaves. All the black people in South America, most of them, in the Caribbean, that's all descendants of
should
slavery.
not be leading a team conducting this type of operation. Other human rights activists have been less enthusiastic. Not only has there been no evidence
Brazil, I was just reading a book about this, a chapter. Brazil had the most slaves, 5.2 million. approximately 10 million slaves were shipped from Africa to North, Middle, and South America during slavery. It was 10 million, and 5.2 million were Brazil. One of the lowest numbers was actually North America, with 428,000 slaves arriving in the US&A.
That gang leaders have been taken out by such strikes, but some fear that the gangs themselves may be encouraged to adopt these tactics. Drone warfare is already one of the greatest man-made horrors of our time, and that becomes even more terrifying when gangs can remotely blow up a police station for a few $100. Looping back to the start of the story, Haiti's hiring of a US mercenary company likely comes as much less of a surprise when considering just how desperate its government.
USA had more slaves than that? Let's fact check. I was just reading a book on that. Let me fact check you. How many slaves historically reached the now territory of the USA? Because I think it's 428,000. Roughly 400 to 450,000 enslaved Africans forcibly transported to territories became the United States between the early 1600s and the ends of the transatlantic slave trade in 1808. The transatlantic slave trade overall transported up to 12.5 million Africans to the Americas, from which about only like over 1 million died on the fucking drive over, man. So I fact-checked you, John. Love you, John. The vast majority were taken to Caribbean, Brazil, and Spanish America. Only a small share went directly to North America. Despite this relatively small number, the enslaved population in the US grew rapidly. Well, then through breeding, they became much more. Up to 4 million enslaved people. So when you say they had more slaves, you're right that once they made children, it went up to 4 million. Then you're right.
Has become. According to insider sources, Vectis Global will be deploying several.
I'm very educated on this because I just read a book about this.
Europe, and
it was about how slavery is actually terrible for a country. Terrible economically. It doesn't make a country progress and grow and stuff. It's just terrible, terrible.
Salvador.
The only advantage of slavery is that you have, how to say, some individuals get rich, like plantation owners. They will get very, very rich.
In specialist roles within Haiti. These are said to include intelligence specialists, snipers, and even helicopter pilots. Talking to Reuters, Eric Prince would state that his company had landed a 10-year...
Clever though, man. You're a Navy SEAL and then you make a mercenary company? Clever, man. Probably rich as fuck, that guy.
Contract with the Haitian government, but would not comment on how much the contract was worth. Prince would also comment that a key goal of his company was to restore Haiti's border taxes, an enormous source of government revenue which has been crippled by gang occupation. The entire concept of a nation outsourcing its security to a foreign mercenary company is pretty dystopian in of itself. It was even the plot of Call of Duty.
A lot of dystopian stuff nowadays, man.
Duty Advanced Warfare. And that nearly ended up with Kevin Spacey taking over the world. It could be argued that a military contractor like Vectis Global will end up further fragmenting Haiti's already divided authority and sovereignty, as opposed to having it restored. There's also the question of legality, as legal experts state that Vectis Global's involvement isn't even considered legal unless it acts within the permission of the United States government. Speaking to the...
Slavery did blah 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 blah. Hey, if you guys want, we can do a big slavery thing, man. I have fucking crazy sources and stuff. We can talk about slavery, and it's crystal clear, scientifically speaking, that slavery had majorly negative impacts to economy, etc., development, etc. You guys want to do that?
Press, a Trump administration official stated that the US government had no involvement in the company's operation.
I feel like, why is it even like a big debate? Why do we have to make a thing about that?
Within Haiti.
It's pretty much a... You want gun about slavery? Well, I can't look at that scrolling.
Insane history supporting Donald Trump's presidential ambitions. So much so that we wouldn't have time to scratch the surface of this rabbit hole even if we wanted. With that said, it's likely that the current US government might just be happy to look the other way when it comes to the strict legality of Vectis Global's Haiti operation. While many see the hiring of mercenaries as a desperate act by the Haitian government.
We're reaching a bit of a new point in the human race, which I saw yesterday in the German thing about Germany, where politicians are starting to just ignore legal stuff and courts. We see it in the US, where the courts say certain things and Trump is like, no. We see it in Germany now, where Lisa's cousin was quoted 8 days ago in Jan Böhmermann. She's a professor of law, where there was now... So let me explain. The German current government wants to get votes from conservatives and anti-immigrant people, right? Makes sense. They want these votes. So there was a case where a person was... kicked out of Germany. I can't say in English. Kicked out of Germany, and the court was like, that wasn't correct. That was illegal. Didn't do it well. Then the leader, one of the leaders of the current party, CDU, Alexander Dobrindt, said, literally said, unquote, this is just a single case thingy. We don't give a shit about what that court is saying. We're still gonna deport these people. Then Lisa's cousin is genuinely in that TV show, and she did like a how to say a check on this and came to a conclusion, like in scientific work, 98 to 99% of current deportations are also under the same issue of that legal case, meaning this is it's done illegally. It's not done with the right due process, and the government just goes, I don't give a fuck. And that's interesting. We see that more and more now in the world, where certain leaders are like, I don't care about your law and your courts, and that's where I think it gets dangerous, man. Right? We all learned executive, judicative, legislative. If that shit doesn't work anymore, that's where it gets a bit scary, man.
Government to restore control. Others see it as an escalation necessitated by the failure of all other solutions. We can only hope that after suffering hundreds of years of turmoil, Haiti will one day finally catch a break. It's now time to talk about
Mussolini would always say, "Mine frego, I don't care."
Ukraine, which has had a pretty big month of August.
Unfortunately, when this video was done, they didn't talk yet about the biggest attack on civilians yet. A 1-year-old child died, and that shit, man. Just what can you say, man? And the world just looks, you know my opinion, man. Russia is fucking Nazi Germany of the 21st century.
Battlefront, there was very little movement pushing the front lines one way or the other. Sumy was fairly static. Dnipropetrovsk isn't seen as a favorable target by Russia, and Kherson is too.
Yeah, Marcus, you sent me some videos, huh? I haven't checked them yet. I might want to check them on stream. I don't know what it is. You often send me some weird stuff. You're also texting me right now. You got a medal? Let me check that stuff. You sent me videos. So he's sending me a video of his unit. I think I don't want to watch that on stream. And he also sent me what civilians don't know about war. So this is, if you don't know, this is a real Ukrainian soldier I always talk of, and he got a medal. I will check that. You got it by Zelensky. I will check that in a sec, man.
Too difficult to move.
And Markic, man, I will do a 17-hour stream soon, and I will get donations, man. All donations go to the Ukrainian army. I'm actually in talks, Markic, with a different Ukrainian unit. You might know them. I'm waiting for the email. That have asked me for financial help to buy fiber optics for their drones. I will tell you later what the name is. They're still sending me an email. I'm still waiting for that. But the TommyKay universe is now gonna straight up fucking financially help Ukrainian army, man. Fuck that. Did they send me an email? Let me check. Not yet. I told them to write me an official email, but they didn't do it yet. Maybe they're in the spam. One sec. Ukrainian army sending me an email. And it's in the spam? Where's spam? Spam? Nah, they haven't texted me yet. I'm waiting for an email from the Ukrainian army, bro. Where are they? They're Ukrainian, they probably can't write. I'm kidding.
Around with a river in the way. On the other hand, Russia stepped up pressure on the Kharkiv Oblast, but both sides are so dug in that any real progress is pretty rare. Drone warfare in this region
It's so awkward for Markic to watch this, right? Like, he's actually part of this in real life, man. They might have no electricity. I'm honest, Markic. This unit, they texted me like children, like with grammar mistakes. Tommy, we need money. Send money, please. I'm like, who the fuck are you, bro? And he was literally saying, why you don't treat us like humans? Like, bro, write a legit fucking email. Make it legit. Send me some pictures to sell it to the viewers, man. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He's like, okay, I will make email for you, okay? That's fucking nothing, man. Russia's amassing troops in Donbass. I hear there's a big push coming, but they often do big push, and then they just get fucking wrecked a lot, man. They're on the front line, they're stressed. yeah, I don't know if it's a scam or something, man.
Strategy, to the point where full-on drone-only assaults are taking place. Ukraine's drone defense in-depth strategy has remained remarkably effective at repelling large-scale attacks along its eastern borders.
Bro, if I ever go to war, man, I will never be in a vehicle. Fuck that, man.
Russia has begun testing a new strategy.
Also, I feel like someone should invent an armor, probably too expensive, that doesn't show your heat signature, but that's probably impossible.
Russia has now started deploying small teams of under 10 people to slip past the front line.
Well, again, what? Russia does
borders,
that.
Which is why Russia has begun testing a new strategy. Russia has now
This is actually a doctrine in Hoi 4, infiltration technique. They send little teams to infiltrate.
Started deploying small teams of under 10 people to slip past the front line.
That actually exists? Capes like that? The new Abrams has that. It's probably very expensive stuff.
The backline units within the Ukrainian army have been wiped out by surprise attacks while away from the front.
Oh, shit. Could you call the shock troopers? It's called stealth ground vehicle. I mean, you wouldn't call the shock troopers. This is more like infiltration techniques, huh? It's called asymmetrical warfare?
Not expecting Russian troops to have made it so far behind their line.
Oh, shit. Ukraine has to figure that shit out, man.
In most cases, however, these infiltrating troops have mainly been...
It's actually Grand Battle Plan right side infiltration.
...avoiding any form of engagement with Ukrainian forces, as they operate without any support or way to consistently resupply themselves. Once discovered, they're also extremely vulnerable to being killed or captured.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck, man. They deserve to die. Straight up, I'm taking a stance here. How is that weird, man? I have nothing against the Russian population. I love you, John. You know that, man. But if you're a Russian soldier, whatever that happened, and you walk into Ukraine to do this, you deserve to fucking die. Fucking sorry, no hate, man. If you get shot in the head, you fucking kinda... It sucks. They're still human? Yes, but this is a war. This is what it is. It is what it is. What am I supposed to do? Shake their hands and be like, oh, they're just humans. I'm so sorry. It sucks. Maybe they're forced. Maybe they... I talked to Fanta Bambucha, my jiu-jitsu trainer. He has a Russian man in his club who was running away from conscription. A basic fucking human, bro, that might have went to the front line, right? But... And it's easy for me to say, right? It's easy for me to say... but that's how the world works, man. You invade a country, and if you die, then I gotta be careful. But fuck, man, what are you gonna do? You shouldn't spare the death of people.
Supposedly, Ukraine's Azov Brigade considers these infiltrators a good way to train fresh troops, as it's much easier to operate away from the front lines. As of right now, it appears as if Ukraine has become more diligent in its efforts to prevent their lines from being infiltrated. But it's still...
It's obviously a hard thing. It's hard, man. We have to never forget human sides. I tell that to you, Markich. I mean, you are in a real war. I have no right to tell you anything, but I think it's important that in war we don't forget humanity, because that's how generational trauma is made, that when the war's over, you will hate Russians forever and maybe give it to your kids. That's also not good. It's a very hot topic, but I feel like whatever circumstance, the moment your foot steps into a country you're invading, you're free for the kill count, man. You're free to be a corpse. That's unfortunately what it is, man. These people are allowed to defend themselves. Whatever happened to you in your life that you make that step into Ukraine, whatever fucking happens, maybe you're just like Putin is using uneducated people, old people, sure. But what the fuck is the solution here, man?
As an interesting meta shift in a conflict dominated by drone warfare. The month of August also saw Ukraine unveil the Flamingo.
I sometimes try to see perspective, like Russia invades Germany and I'm suddenly in a trench. Will I cry for shooting a Russian soldier then? I probably will not. I will probably sleep like a fucking baby, man. But that's how war has been working on for all these years, right? But again, I agree with you. We should never forget the human side. The true monster, the true non-human is Vladimir Putin and his goons here. And yeah, I mean, what do you want to say there? But I think it's always important to, like, right, look at John in chat. John is a fucking normal Russian guy with a normal mindset, man. Am I supposed to hate him now and be happy if he gets bombed by a drone? Obviously not. We have to be careful with stuff like that. I see that with Markich a lot, who is a real soldier. He always talks like all Russians need to die, which obviously can't be the solution. That can't be the right way. That just leads to an infinite circle of fucking hate.
A missile with a huge 3,000-kilometer range, which is rumored to cost just $55,000. The missile is called the Flamingo due to a production error.
I know I sound like polemic here, but you imagine what you could do with that money in like education and building up infrastructure.
The prototyping process, which caused it to come out.
Putin ruined Russia. Be careful, John. Be careful, bro. Putin ruined Russia and the potential it had. Yeah, man.
On the production line. The team thought it was funny, and the name Flamingo was born. Perhaps the most significant Ukraine development took place on the 15th of August, when President Trump and President Putin met in Anchorage, Alaska. These talks were something...
Giving him the red fucking carpet, man. Oh, you know I have opinions, man. That is... You're spitting on millions of people dying in the Cold War, and more like that, and this is just the most ridiculous stuff ever, and it's a disgrace to all American history what you are doing here, man. This is unbelievable, but once again, no one cares, no consequences. Fucking insane.
Trump had wanted for a
Utter
long
insanity. Zelensky sits there. Why don't you wear a suit? Have you said thank you? And Mr. Hitler gets a fucking red carpet, man. But once again, I realize this will always happen. This will always happen. The question is just, why there's no consequences? No one is like doing anything about this, you know? This is what I always feel like. As children, we learned there was always an adult in the room. If something happens, the adults will fix it. And once you become an adult, you realize there is no adults that will fix this kind of stuff, man. It's just lawless Wild West, dude.
time, as he's long believed that his mediation would be able to settle the conflict.
Right there, I'm gonna shut my mouth.
The meeting itself kicked off to a flying start, with the US president seemingly orchestrating a show of force by lining up several F-22s, and having a B-2 bomber fly over escorted by several F-35s.
I mean, that was a little bit like Trump saying, look at this, Putin, I got bombers, I can bomb you if I want.
Observers view
that was
this
a little
as
bit
clear
of,
show
I mean, that looks fucking, dude, that's probably billions, right? How much money is that? Wow, bro.
To a dictator, while others saw it as the kind of tacky shit that only authoritarian fuckwits do. US foreign policy has long been
I like
tacky
this
shit
guy.
that only
What is this guy? Did I subscribe to him yet? I don't think I have. I did. Sir Swag.
as a clear show of force to a dictator, while others saw it as the kind of tacky shit that only authoritarian fuckwits do. US foreign policy has long been speak softly and carry a big stick, and this is a pretty clear break from that tradition. Unfortunately, the talks themselves didn't result in any meaningful
nothing. It's just nothing.
The closest
They probably just talk about some sexy 16-year-olds or some
they
shit.
got was Putin
They don't give a
conceding that
fuck.
the territory he's actively invading wouldn't have to speak Russian as the official language, which is the same kind of hollow dictator platitudes we've come to expect. At the end of the meeting, a press conference was held in which there was no room for questions. President Putin talked for about 10 minutes, mainly stating that Russia was sincerely interested in peace, but for peace to be achieved, Russia...
We're very interested in peace. Maybe we can find something. What? The biggest attack on civilians? Shoot these rockets. Let's go ahead, man. Let's show how much we care about peace.
Needed to be addressed. He finished his address by saying that the previous American administration could have prevented the war, and that the war would not have happened if Trump had been president. Putin really is a world-class professional shit talker. He's like that kid in school who tells everyone he has 10 Ferraris at home.
I like how this guy is not neutral. I love it. I think the time to be neutral is over. The time to be neutral is fucking over, man.
Trump spoke for 2 minutes, mainly about how the meeting was productive, that the war never would have happened if he had been president, and urged Zelensky to make a deal. 2 days later, European leaders, the secretary...
And I will say it again and again, I now have the balls to spread my opinion, and people can unfollow and hate me. Zelensky is, to me, at the moment, the greatest human being of the 21st century. In 2100, when people look back at 100 years, that guy will be a shining figure in a world where people just blah, 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 and everything is corrupt. Nobody fucking does anything, man. All is just talking. That guy said, I don't need a lift, I need some ammunition, man. Say what you want, man. To me, that guy is the greatest man of this century. And the fucking pressure this guy's under, of people shitting on him, trying to assassinate him, man, that must be fucking hard, man. That must be a crazy, crazy, crazy pressure, man. And yes, he has flaws. He's not perfect. Like, no one is 100%, man, but... the greatest hero of the century.
General of NATO and President Zelensky met with President Trump to discuss the next.
And I think 99 out of 100 men could never do what he did. Most men will run and cower and look for excuses, man.
Steps. The focus of the meetings was primarily securing that Trump would not stop supporting Ukraine and capitulate the country to Russia. The goal was to impress two things on Trump. Firstly, that the war would not be settled
but he's not wearing a suit, though.
to Russia. Secondly, that the war was not just for Ukraine, but the safety of the entire European continent. The talks resulted in Trump agreeing that Ukraine would need security guarantees.
It's generally called me a fucking emotional little bitch. It's hard to watch this. This is genuinely hard to watch, man.
But Trump stating,
and Zelensky knows he has to stay calm, right? He has to be neutral. He can't fuck this up.
That they wouldn't be coming from America. After the talks, Trump suggested a trilateral meeting between him, Putin, and Zelensky. However, a day after the
but Putin never wants to meet Zelensky, huh?
Talks, TASS, a Russian state-owned news agency, had already published articles that Europe and Kiev are trying to obstruct peace by painting Russia as the bad guy, and Trump as being played. This laid the...
Straight up Nazi shit, man.
Groundwork for Russia to start stalling once again. Most Western outlets seem to agree that Putin was the only real winner from the meeting. The Wall Street Journal, for example, wrote, quote, Putin ended his isolation in the West, made no public concessions, and can continue killing Ukrainians without further sanction. Viewers might remember the last meeting between Trump and Zelensky in February, a meeting which was so bad that Brazilian President Lula da Silva commented, quote, diplomacy, since planet Earth was created, has not seen a scene as grotesque, as disrespectful as the one that took place in the Oval Office.
Like, damn, dude. Yeah. Well said, man.
Of the White House. Regardless of whether you remember the meeting, you've almost certainly seen the JD Vance memes that have flooded the internet.
I like how JD Vance is lately saying, if something would happen to the president, Donald Trump, I will be ready to take over the country.
Since the two biggest criticisms from Vice President Vance from the last visit was that Zelensky didn't say thank you enough times, and that he didn't wear a suit to the occasion. In this month's follow-up in the White House, Zelensky came wearing what seemed to be a formalized black version of his usual military garb, and he notably said thank you 6 times within the first few.
Oh, that's so sad, man. He knows he needs USA, so he has to dress better. He has to say thank you. He needs to suck up to Epstein's friend over here, bro. The world is harsh, man. That's something every kid must realize one day. The world is not a nice place. And you can either cry and be depressed and be emo about it, or you fucking just handle it, dude.
Minutes of the meeting.
That's how the world goes.
We took the liberty of condensing the meeting into about 3 minutes. But viewers are free to skip ahead if they're not interested.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have the president of Ukraine with us.
As you listen to Russia and Ukraine, which side has the better cards?
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just here to be. Look, this isn't my war. This is Joe Biden's war. He's the
complete intellectual gibberish, but it does not matter. There is no consequence for that.
One that had a lot to do with this happening.
If the peace deal will be achieved, are you going to be willing to send American peacekeepers to Ukraine?
Well, we're going to work with Ukraine. We're going to work with everybody, and we're going
to work in the mines because we like the resources.
Make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long term. This is very long term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia. We're going to work with Ukraine, and we're going to make sure it works. The war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, you know, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this.
It's almost unbearable to an intellectual mind, right? If you manage to have an IQ over 80, this is unbearable, bro.
This maybe would be the easiest.
But he's winning. He's the biggest winner. If you look at the facts, right? He's using his presidency, like many presidents before him, for personal gain. The Trump family is making millions since he's in office. His first, and maybe only, I think, foreign visit wasn't to his allies. It was to Qatar and the UAE to sell a Trump Tower and golf course for his sons and stuff, man. The guy's making so much money, man. And if the presidency's over, his family will be rich, 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 rich.
And it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one.
President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good.
Look at Zelensky, man. Oh, that poor guy. He has to sit there and be like, oh, thank you, man. Thank you. It's the saddest shit ever, man.
I said the one that attacked you last time. See, now I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful.
Hey, you apologized. Okay.
No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed you. Because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, the battlefield, in the sky, and the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
And I guarantee you that I'm gonna say it, quote me, see if I'm a wrong liberal retard. When this war's over, the guy will hold elections. He will fucking do it.
During the war, you can't have elections. So let me just say, 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war
Jesus
with
Christ,
somebody,
buddy.
No more elections. Oh, that's good. I wonder what
tired. Dude, imagine the pressure, right? Being Zelensky, bro. They want to assassinate you in Kiev. They probably want to get your wife and kids who are on the west somewhere, right? the fucking pressure, man. But that's if you look at the world, right? This is how legendary men are born, right? Eisenhower, even like a Churchill, the French resistance. Men that don't just talk, men that don't give up, men that don't are just like this, right? This is where men are formed. Real fucking men of history that do things that most of us couldn't do, man. Imagine that goddamn pressure, man.
Now we're selling weapons. This is something before, I guess the number is well over $300 billion. That was under Joe Biden.
What's this? Alphony, that's a 2-hour ban. 8-hour ban. That was the most retarded shit I've ever seen on my stream. 8-hour ban. Please just go away. Touch grass. That was so fucking terrible. What the fuck is wrong with you, kid? Wow, that was goddamn terrible.
Biden, a corrupt politician.
Putin must also be terrified. It's an interesting question, right? I don't know much about that, but if you're Hitler, if you're Stalin, if you're Mao, if you're Putin, if you're Kim Jong-un, I don't think these people lay in bed and like, oh, I'm so evil. I don't know, man. I think it's some kind of sociopathic, psychopathic trait, and they actually think they're in the right. Like with Hitler, you saw the German people don't deserve to live. This is the German people's fault. It's a very interesting question how to judge or look at these kind of. Is it a social or a psychopath? I don't know, because I don't think they think like that. I think Putin generally thinks he's right. Stuff like that.
Not a smart man. Never was. By the way, go back 40 years. He was not a smart man 40 years ago either. But now he's in particular bad. This was done by a corrupt administration that shouldn't have been in. And frankly, if the right results of the election were given, if I were president, this war would have never taken place. And he would have been very happy. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots.
He wants to attack the mail ballot system because it massively favors Democratic votes. A lot of Democrats use the letter vote, so now he's doing a lot of stuff to fuck with the letter vote, man.
You never have a real
great democracy, man.
Mail-in ballots. You know that we're the only country in the world, I believe.
But the Republican government of Texas has now rearranged the districts of voting in Texas to favor Republican vote much more.
I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses it because of what's happened. Massive fraud.
I don't think that's true. That is massively untrue. That is massively super untrue.
All over the place. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt.
The big fucking issue, so the transgenders and the male, huh? That is the big fucking issues.
In 90 days, Mr. President.
And the saddest part is, call me arrogant, 50% of Americans look at this and they're like, I want to vote for this. And that's where I reach a point, which is very sad, where I kind of want to give up. Where the Tommy inside of me that wants to give up is like winning. Where I'm like, hey, do your thing. The world doesn't know any better. We're not that far yet, man. Let me buy a house, build a big wall, let me build a well, let the world eat itself, and I just take care of my people, man. And I had a big talk with Fanta Babucha, the guy in chat, my jiu-jitsu trainer. We were in a restaurant Saturday night, and we talked about this. And Fanta, if you talk to him, a great guy, good job, normal thinking, a father, right? And he was like, I gave up on this. I don't vote anymore. I gave up on everything. And isn't that the saddest thing ever, when you have the normal middle class give up on all? I think that's what they want. It's the best thing to do. I think that's what they want, though. They want you to give up. They want you to give up. Let them build this utopia for the rich people. You get some scraps. I think that's what they want. They want you to give up, man. And it's easy to give up. It's easy to just say fuck all of this. But if we all give up, then the human race is done. Then we will go to the utopia where the rich control everything.
We didn't have 0 in 3 months. Not one person came in illegally into our country. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped. Thank you very much, everybody.
The mail-in voting tangent was extremely abridged and not at all on topic, but we thought it was way too funny to not include at least some of it. Unfortunately, there seemed to have been very little progress made over August toward a lasting peace in Ukraine. Currently, there is no date set for the planned trilateral meeting between Putin, Zelensky, and Trump. And even if one is set, Putin will likely pull out at the last minute like previous attempts to foster peace talks. At least for this year, it seems as if the invasion of Ukraine is doomed to continue. The news is over, which means we need to thank our amazing...
That was actually very fun, man. I would like to see more. Oh, 1 hour ago. I feel like I want to do a bit more news. I'm actually kind of liking this right now. I'm having fun.
She slipped through my fingers like sand. Heard that she had a man. Now I'm just sitting here sad. Oh well, ship sail. She slipped through my fingers like sand.